My name is Helen Carter. I am 68 years old, and the hardest lesson I ever learned was that sometimes the people who smile at you every morning are the same ones planning to take everything you built, including your own son. The day he tried to take my house and my company, he didn't even raise his voice. He sat across from me at my kitchen table, drinking coffee from my favorite mug, and said, "Mom, let's be realistic. You're getting older. It's time you signed everything over to me." Just like that. No emotion. No gratitude. No respect. Just entitlement. I stared at him. This was the same boy who used to sleep with the hallway light on. The same child who cried when his goldfish died. The same teenager I worked double shifts for so he could go to college, and now he wanted my life's work. "You mean my house?" I asked. He smiled. "Our house," he corrected. "And the company. I've been helping you for years. Double quotes helping. That word burned. Let me tell you something. I started that business when my husband left. 2 kids. 1 used car. $800 in savings. I cleaned offices at night. Answered phones in the morning. Did my own accounting at the kitchen table. I didn't sleep. I didn't travel. I didn't date. I built that company with my hands and my fear of failing my children. My son. He joined years later, when it was already stable, already profitable, already respected. And now he wanted ownership. "You can't just take it," I said. He leaned back in his chair. "Legally, I can." That's when I knew. This conversation wasn't about family. It was about power. He slid a folder across the table. "I already talked to a lawyer," he said. "This is for your own good." I didn't open it because I already understood. He wasn't asking. He was informing me. That night, I sat alone in my bedroom and cried like I hadn't cried in years. Not because of money, because I raised him better than this. But what he didn't know, what he never imagined, was that I wasn't a real owner anymore. Not legally. Not on paper. Not where it mattered. And I was about to remind him. After that conversation, he changed. Not suddenly. Not dramatically. Slowly. The most dangerous way. He started coming over more often. At first, I thought he was worried about me. "Just checking on you, Mom, making sure you're okay." But his eyes weren't soft anymore. They were measuring, watching, counting. He began asking strange questions. "How much do you pay for insurance? Who's your accountant now? Did you ever update the business paperwork?" At first, I answered, because he was my son, because I didn't want to believe what my instincts were screaming. Then he brought his wife. Rachel. She used to call me Mom with that sugary voice. Now she sat quietly, smiling too much. Listening. Learning. One afternoon, she said, "You should really enjoy retirement, Helen. You've worked enough. Let the young generation take over." The way she said it, like she was already planning my funeral. A week later, my son sent me an email. Not a call. Not a visit. In the mail, with legal language attachments. Words like management transfer, shareholder agreement, controlling interest. He had to Google half of it. He wrote, "Mom, this is just paperwork. Everyone does this at your age. It protects the family business. Double quotes family. Funny how he used that word right after threatening me. I didn't reply. So he escalated. Suddenly, suppliers stopped returning my calls. One told me quietly, "Your son said he's a new boss. Of my company. Then clients started asking, "Are you retiring? We heard you sold." I hadn't sold anything. I confronted him. He didn't deny it. "I'm just preparing," he said calmly. "People trust me more. You're old-fashioned. Double quotes old-fashioned. Because I paid employees on time? Because I didn't cut corners? Because I believed in loyalty?" Then he hit me where it hurt. "You wouldn't have this company if it wasn't for me." I laughed. A sad laugh. "You were in college when I built it." I said. He shrugged. "Still, you wouldn't be where you are without family. Double quotes family. Again. Always when you want something. That night, I couldn't sleep. I walked through my house touching the walls. I remembered painting this place myself, fixing the roof, paying the mortgage. Alani, and now my son wanted it. Like it was inheritance already. A few days later, he showed up with a stranger. A man in a suit. "Mom, this is my lawyer." My stomach dropped. The lawyer spoke. Very polite. Very calm. But every sentence felt like a knife. "Your son believes you're no longer fit to manage the business. Your assets could be protected under his guidance. Protected. By taking them." I looked at my son. He couldn't meet my eyes. "That hurt more than anything. You planned this." I whispered. He sighed. "Don't be dramatic. Double quotes dramatic. For defending my life's work." That was the moment. I stopped answering his calls, stopped opening his emails, stopped pretending this was normal. But he wasn't done. Not even close. 2 weeks later, I received court papers. My own son was suing me, claiming mental decline, mismanagement, financial risk, wanted control. I sat at my kitchen table holding those papers, and I realized something terrifying. He wasn't bluffing. But what he didn't know, what he still didn't understand, was that I had already planned for this. Years ago, quietly, without telling anyone. Because I knew one day, someone might try to take everything, even my own child. When I got the court papers, I didn't scream. I didn't throw them. I just sat there and stared at my own son's name printed under. Plaintiff. Plaintiff, that word doesn't belong next to son, but there it was, black, ink, official, cold. I made myself tea, same mug I've used for 20 years. Because when your world starts falling apart, routine is the only thing that reminds you you're still alive, you see. My son thinks this all started recently. He thinks I suddenly became difficult. But the truth is, I saw this coming years ago. It started the day my husband left. No warning. Just a suitcase and a note on the kitchen counter. I'm not built for this life. To kids. No savings. Bills everywhere. That was the moment I learned. No one is coming to save you. I built that company out of fear. Fear of losing my kids. Fear of being homeless. Fear of becoming invisible. Every contract I signed felt like survival. Every dollar mattered. But I also learned something else. People change when money appears, even family, years later. When the business finally became stable, I noticed how my son looked at it. Not with pride, with calculation. How much do you make? Who owns what? What happens if you die? Normal questions, but the way he asked, like he was already planning. That's when I went to a lawyer. Not to change my will, but to protect myself. I created a trust. Quietly. No announcements. No drama. I transferred ownership of the house, the company, the accounts out of my personal name, not to my son, not to my daughter, but to a legal entity. Because here's something most people don't know. If you own nothing personally, no one can take it from you. The trust had rules, strong ones. No forced transfer, no coercion, no change without my consent, and most important, I was not the beneficiary. That's the part that shocked everyone later, you see. I made someone else the owner. Someone my son never suspected. Someone he underestimated. Someone he ignored for years. My daughter, she lives quietly, works as a nurse, never asked me for money. Never wanted control. She watched her brother change and stayed silent. I didn't tell her at first. Not everything. Because I didn't want to put pressure on her. But I knew if something ever happened to me, she would protect what I built. Not exploit it. So legally, she became the owner. On paper, hidden behind the trust. Untouchable. My son never checked. He never imagined his mother would outsmart him. Back to the lawsuit. He accused me of mental instability, financial mismanagement, risk to company operations. He wanted a judge to remove me. I hired a lawyer. A woman, calm, sharp, no nonsense. She read the papers and smiled. Oh, he has no idea, she said. About what? I asked. She tapped the folder. About who actually owns everything. That night, I slept peacefully for the first time in weeks, because my son had just dragged himself into a courtroom where I was finally going to tell the truth. And I knew something else. Once this became public, our relationship would never recover. But sometimes, you have to lose a child to protect yourself. The courthouse smelled like old carpet and cold coffee. You'll forget that smell. It's the smell of people losing things. My son arrived confident. New suit, new haircut, Rachel on his arm like a trophy. He didn't even look at me. Not once, like I was already gone. We sat on opposite sides. Strangers. My lawyer leaned over. Let him talk first, she whispered. Let him hang himself. The judge entered. Everyone stood. My heart pounded so loud I was sure people could hear it. My son's lawyer began. He painted a picture. Elderly mother, declining mind. Dangerous business decision, said. My client is only trying to protect what his mother built. Protect. Again. That word. Then my son spoke. He looked straight at the judge. My mom refuses to retire. She's stubborn. She's emotional. She's risking everything. Double quotes, everything. He meant my company. My house. My life. I watched him lie. Calmly. Professionally. Like he practiced. Then my lawyer stood. She didn't rush. She didn't raise her voice. She smiled. Slightly, Your Honor, she said. This case is unnecessary. The room went still. She held up a folder. My client does not own the house or the company. My son froze. What? He whispered. My lawyer continued. Everything is owned by a trust, established years ago. The judge looked interested. Rachel shifted in her seat, and my lawyer said, my client is not the beneficiary. Silence. Heavy. My son laughed nervously. That's impossible. My lawyer turned to him. Who do you think owns it? He opened his mouth, closed it, looked confused. Then she said it. The owner is your sister. His face drained, not slowly, instantly. What? He snapped. She has nothing to do with this. My lawyer slid documents forward on paper. She has everything. He stood up. Mom, tell them this isn't true. Everyone looked at me. I stood slowly. My knees shaking. But my voice was steady. I did this years ago, I said. When I realized money changes people, I looked at him, and I was right. Rachel whispered something. He shook her off. You planned this. He yelled. No, I replied. I protected myself. The judge examined the papers. Nodded. This trust is valid. My son collapsed back into his chair. You sued the wrong person, the judge said. Case dismissed. I didn't smile. I didn't celebrate. I just sat down because winning against your child doesn't feel like winning. Outside the courtroom, my son finally looked at me. With something close to fear. You ruined me, he said. I shook my head. You did that yourself. Rachel walked away. Fast. Did in single quotes. Look back. He followed me to the parking lot. You embarrassed me. That word again. Embarrassed. I raised you better, I said. That's what hurts. He didn't reply because there was nothing left to say. That night, I went home. My house. I made tea. Same mud. Same routine. But everything felt different, not lighter, just clearer. For 3 days after court, my phone stayed silent. No calls, no messages, no angry voicemails. Just quiet, the kind of quiet that follows an explosion. On the 4th day, he showed up. No suit, no confidence. Just jeans and a hoodie like he used to wear in college. He stood on my porch shifting his weight like a child who broke something important. I didn't open the door right away. I watched him through the window for the first time in weeks. He looked small. When I finally opened it, he tried to smile. It failed. Mom, he said softly. I stepped aside. He walked in. Slowly. Carefully. Like he was afraid everything might break again. We sat at the same kitchen table where he first demanded my life. Neither of us spoke. I poured tea. To cups out of habit. I messed up, he said. Not I'm sorry, not I was wrong, just I messed up. You sued me, I replied calmly. You tried to declare me mentally unfit. He nodded. I panicked. Another excuse. Rachel left. He added, that surprised me. She said I embarrassed her. Double quotes embarrassed. Funny how that word kept coming back. She only loved the idea of money, he whispered. Not me. I didn't comment because he was finally learning. I don't care about the company, he said. I just want my mom back. I looked at him. Really looked. The boy I raised was still there, buried. But there, you don't get to switch roles, I said. You don't get to attack me and then ask for comfort. Tears filled his eyes. I didn't think you'd fight back. That hurt more than anything else. I reached across the table, not to hug him, but to move my cup closer because I needed something warm between us. I will always love you, I said. But love doesn't mean surrender. He cried. For real this time. No performance. No anger. Just shame. I thought it was mine, he whispered. I helped you. You joined late, I said gently. You never built it. That truth hit him harder than court. After a long silence, he stood. I guess I should go. I nodded. Not cruel. Not warm. Just honest. At the door, he turned back. I'm sorry, Mom, this time. I believed him. Weeks passed. He texted sometimes, short messages. How are you? I hope you're okay, I replied. But I kept distance. Boundaries aren't punishment, they're protection. My daughter came over. More. She never bragged, never smiled. She just helped me in the garden. Quiet support, real support. One afternoon she said, I didn't want to hurt him. I know, I answered. But sometimes the truth hurts more than lies. Life slowly found a new rhythm. I still ran my company, but I trained a manager. Not my son, someone professional. Neutral. Because here's what I learned. Blood doesn't mean trust. History doesn't mean loyalty. Love doesn't mean access. People think the story ends in court, but it doesn't. It ends every day with the choices we make after. I didn't destroy my son. I showed him a mirror. What he does with it is his story now. If you're listening to this, and someone is trying to take what you built, even if it's family, remember this: protection is not betrayal. Boundaries are not cruelty, and silence is sometimes the loudest answer.